Okay, so today we're going to be learning about Newton's 3 laws of motion. But a quick review of stuff that we've already learned. We've learned that speed is the distance divided by time, so that's how far something travels and how long it takes to get there. The velocity is displacement divided by time, and that's the shortest amount of time from the starting point to the final point and how long it takes to get there. Then we have force, which is mass divided by acceleration, and we know mass is how much something weighs. And acceleration is the change in velocity divided by the time. So that's our quick little overview of stuff that we've already learned. Some things that we need to know, a little background about Isaac Newton, is he's from England. He was very good with mathematics. He's a key figure in the scientific revolution. He formulated the laws of motion and the universal gravitation. He's also really known for the apple incident, which is a story of when the apple is falling off the tree, and this helped him to create his theory of gravitation.
So starting with the 3 laws of motion, the first law of motion is simply defined as an object will remain in a state of rest or motion. So that's, to put that into terms, if we lay a ball on the ground and it just stays there, it's not going to move unless something else happens to it. A force is applied. And so what are some ways a ball can be moved? A person kicking it, wind moving it, the ground shaking from an earthquake, or anything kind of like that. So the first law of motion is an object will remain in a state of rest or motion unless a force is applied. The second law of motion is defined: acceleration is produced when a force acts on a mass. So to put that, again, the greater the mass, the greater the amount of force needed. So if we're trying to push a car that weighs a little bit, like a Prius, if you go to push a Prius, it's going to be a lot easier to push than a transfer truck. And the acceleration is how fast it's going to take off. And then the amount of force acts on the mass is how much pressure you can push against the car and to move the weight of that car. Third law of motion is defined: for every action there's an equal and opposite reaction. That's just meaning if something happens, the exact opposite is going to occur. So I'm sure you've all seen the video on YouTube of people holding the exercise balls on opposite sides of the room, and they go running together and they hit, and then they go flying both the opposite direction. So they're both coming in with like the equal amount of force, and the exact reaction is going to occur with both of them bouncing off and flipping the other direction.